And we should be live. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Drone Out. Tonight is episode 420. We've all done some edibles, so this should be somewhat of an interesting show once it
Whoa, dude.
hits.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I'm only joking. Tonight we are joined by the man with the moustache, Stephen.
Hello, evening all.
My buddy Cole.
Howdy.
I'm your host, Brian to the Fly. Hello. How is it going? Fail safe. If you want to come on, just shoot me on Discord. My Discord is open. It's if you're about, you've got the fancy pants mic, you might as well use it. But hello, how is everyone in chat? Sorry we're a little late. We were mistakenly waiting for Curry Kitten, but he had already told me that he's busy tonight, and I had completely forgotten. If this is Curry listening to this later on, sorry I'm a moron, and I hope that you do fix your Mega CD, because I am very invested in the outcome of that. Speaking of which, have any of you heard the Unity news? So this kind of affects the simulators. Unity, as from my understanding, and this is limited, to take this with a pinch of salt, in my opinion, legal notice. Unity released a statement saying that instead of you using their engine, and then once you've made something and then you're selling it, then they recoup a sort of return on investment, like interest and that, and take payment for that. They are now switching over to a per install basis and charging you, the developer. And that's what I think it is. So if you don't like Curry Kitten, then install Curry Kitten Simulator on your computer, your laptop, your Steam Deck, because that will cost Curry Kitten money. If you're a fan of Curry Kitten, don't install it and wait till he rebuilds his game on Unreal Engine. Or play Uncrashed if you don't want to cost anyone money. So FPV, is it FPV Uncrashed, that game? I don't know. I haven't got my Steam open.
Sorry, what? Who's cost who money? I'm quite confused by this.
Unity have turned around and said, we're now going to charge per install.
Oh, right.
And
but
as
that's
you
only if
know,
you upgrade Unity, isn't it? Because they can't retroactively
I don't know.
change the license, can they? So it'll only be if you upgrade to the latest version of Unity. Let me do a window swap here, so I'm looking at camera and not off to one side. There we are. Yeah, it's fairly typical, unfortunately, in the world of software. Oracle have done similar things with Java in the past, which basically means no one should upgrade.
20% per download, including pirates.
Well, yeah,
including pirates. Whoa,
I think that's a joke. Typically, these licensing agreements are overlooked until people start to get serious sales anyway, and then they step in and go, "All right, mate." So, because Curry's not even making a living, he's really just getting money to cover his outlay because he had to pay a registration fee for the Steam store. So,
yeah,
I
just wonder what the outcome of that would be. Is he now, because he has to make money for the Steam store with the 20%, is he now negative?
Well, 20% of nothing is still nothing. And if it's not retroactive, you're assuming that it's you can't change the license terms and add payment structure without typically updating the software, unless it's a software as a service offering which is continually delivered. Curry would have to update to some new version of Unity and knowingly walk into this problem. So we just hope that he spotted it, he doesn't walk into it, and should be good. It's not like Unity had all the bells and whistles anyway. Unity is the same engine that Liftoff uses, and I think that's well known as being, it's almost as ugly as what's that one that always annoys me that all the racers like? The really old one that's really, really ugly.
Liftoff?
No, the older than Liftoff. What's it called?
Oh, FPV Free Rider.
No. The not that one. It's got its own installer and everything.
Oh no! Are you talking about the
DRL
by a couple of British guys, I think.
Velocidrone?
Velocidrone, yeah. Almost as ugly as Velocidrone, yeah. Which is like...
Velocidrone. Look at Cole pulling that out of the bag.
Oh my
No,
word.
I just did a quick Google search of different drone simulators.
I have got keys.
Google.
Yeah,
I admit it flies quite nice, but I fly it for like 5 minutes and then I think, I'll do like a freestyle map, and I just go, oh no. I just bounced off it. Trip is quite promising. They're overhauling their flight mechanics currently, and they seem to be just in a huddle right now. There might be some interesting news coming from the Trip. That's TRYP camp. So yeah, check that out. A few of us have looked at a closed beta, and it flies quite nicely, and it's got a big range of maps. That's another Unreal Engine one, I believe. The ice tunnels are super fun to fly down from Caroline. Yeah. Liftoff's new winter level. Oh, I haven't tried the winter level. That'd be cool. There's a winter level in Trip as well, which I've been quite enjoying. I'll have to give Liftoff a go. I did like Liftoff micro drones. That was good.
Yeah, there was Find the Snowmans at Christmas. I did enjoy that in Liftoff. I was playing that for a little bit.
Yeah, see, I was doing simulator on like a 2010 iMac that can't do anything past like 480p resolution. So I haven't done any updates, needless to say.
Here we are. So Hypo FPV with some of the numbers here. So applies if you make more than $1 million of whatever currency, probably United States dollars, I guess, and have over 200,000.
Unity is a UK company, isn't it? Oh, sorry for talking over you. Isn't Unity based in the UK? I don't know.
Haven't a clue. Haven't a clue. Well, anyway, whatever the currency might be, I don't think Curry is quite, out on his yacht thanks to the proceeds of his sim yet. So,
I had a quick, I had a quick look on the
Unity,
search, and it was like £1.60 or something. Sorry, Cole, carry on.
All right, just saying Unity. If it's Unity Technologies, I don't know if it's the same thing. I think it is.
San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco, based out of California.
Yeah, my mistake. It shows what I know.
Right. So yeah, he's got a bit of leeway. He can probably in UK currency manage to trouser about 800,000, but good luck on him if he does that. Fair play if he could do that. That'd be great. But I don't think any of the sim people are making huge stacks of cash.
I don't know. Maybe we could just encourage everyone to buy it again and ramp him over the threshold.
So you've got a Steam library, which is nothing but 500 copies of Curry's sim.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. On several. I sent you the link, failsafe. Thanks for that, Cole. Correcting and looking stuff up.
It's a fun little thing to fly, for sure. But,
there is a lot of places. But yeah, Brighton. They are based in Brighton as well. And they got one in Bristol. Which is kind of cool. So.
They're doing pretty well, but there's something of a stigma attached to Unity gaming because they're very much I think by quite a wide margin, they're the easiest place to start. So you end up with not just single developers who are short on time like Curry, but game studios who are maybe larger production houses but less accomplished, and their programmers are perhaps not so hot. They tend to be the people that use Unity. So it's got a little bit of a reputation around it, I guess. And historically, it had quite a few weird bugs with input and things, largely fixed by SDL now. Which, Curry's done a ton of work to get all these different radios working, and he had to go and find special frameworks to kind of sidestep some of the Unity input problems to get different controllers working.
Oh shoot, guys! I actually have to hit the road. I guess I'm off to work now because I'm gonna have to be there early now, according to my phone. So,
oops.
Sorry, guys.
No worries. Do you mind? Can you leave you in, just in the background so that your audio uploads later? Is that okay?
I can. It's. I
just shut your
Okay. Just means my Mac is going to run at full speed for the next 2 hours though. Yeah.
Turn off your camera and your mic, and I can remove you from here.
Oh, okay. All right. See you guys.
No worries. Take care, buddy.
See ya. Bye.
I can just leave you on backstage. Sorry for the housekeeping.
Hello, Failsafe.
Hello, guys.
How you doing?
All right. Yeah, good.
Yeah, you're a
very nice camera there, Failsafe. You're
one out,
crystal
one
clear.
out, one in.
I know.
Yeah.
It's always the way.
Sweet.
What fancy piece of glass are you coming to us via right now, Rowan?
Glass? What do you mean? As in the camera?
Your lens. You've got by far the nicest image of possibly any guest on the show so far.
It's an Sony A7 IV and a 35mm f1.2 lens, I think it is. So it's a lot of lighting. You've got a decent background blur, but
yeah, it really does. Nice,
very
good job, man.
Yeah.
So
what have you been up to then?
Sorry?
I was just asking what you've been up to.
I've been up to. Just working really. Obviously did the Drone Fest thing. Yeah, I didn't really do much this weekend, but hopefully soon we're going to be going out for another trip to various bandos in the UK, because I've not really been out on a trip with sort of some friends for quite a while. It's mainly been I've had festivals to film, then I've had obviously Drone Fest, and then last weekend I just sort of chilled out. But hopefully this weekend I'll be going somewhere to fly. It's been a while. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I gather we had a recap of Drone Fest last week. I didn't get around to listening to the show yet. I was sort of disconnected in the countryside with no internet for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, have you guys seen Flight Test have released their easy remote ID? I don't know whether you guys have checked it out. I know it doesn't really apply to us UK people yet.
I had a look.
Yeah, what did you think?
It's a very awkwardly sized board with a lot of empty space. So my first thought was, I bet they could improve the layout on that and actually make it so it doesn't stick out so much.
Yeah, there is a lot of unused space around the outside of it compared to the GPS part.
And the one with the plug has it kind of tantalizingly close to the edge, as if whispering, snap me off.
Yeah, is that a Molex? I don't know. I
it's
can't
like
a
PH 2.0 kind of quite chunky Molex. And they say it could run with power only, which is nice. You don't need to connect data, but I believe it can function as a GPS as well, although it's not clear if it's going to be some sort of MSP GPS or if it'll just pretend to be like a U-Blocks device. I haven't read that much about it.
Are you tempted to order one and then have a little play around?
No, because if it's designed for America, then probably powering it on over here, it might actually be, just a big beacon to the police, like, please come over here and talk to me and tell me I'm in the wrong country, and I've just identified myself as a certified idiot for firing up something, beaconing my identity all over the place on the wrong frequencies. So I might leave it be.
Does anyone know like what frequency it runs on?
Oh, I bet
Is it like
Frank would know all
1.2?
this stuff. All the
I don't know.
Is it ADSB, the transponder frequencies? I don't know if they're different for
I don't
different
know.
countries or not.
Yeah.
Was it Frank was saying that even in this country, it's like a mess of different beaconing systems and in different regions and things
What for remote ID we on about?
on aircraft.
Oh, on aircraft. Yeah, I think Caroline's just been the chat. It's Bluetooth. That's what I thought. I thought it was Bluetooth. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, well, Bluetooth
Yeah,
should be
goes
fine.
to your phone.
Okay.
If it's Bluetooth, what is it? 2.4 then?
It's supposed to get like 100 meters. I just assumed it was more than Bluetooth if it was doing 100 meters. But
it's so
yeah, Bluetooth. Yeah, 100 meters isn't well. It's not an awful lot, is it?
It didn't have an external antenna that I saw, so.
Yeah, I'm desperately trying to have a look and be like, oh, is there one like the sort of like PCB antennas?
Other than like an easy way of adding GPS to vehicles where you struggle to fit in GPS previously, I don't see the point of this business.
I don't know how phones work because it's quite, we put these big blocks on the back of our drones to get signal and everything, and even then it doesn't, it's not always great. Like, it's quite, I don't know, it's quite incredible to me how you got a phone and it's got Bluetooth, all this built in, even GPS built in. It's like, it's just tiny. I don't even, you open up phones, you don't even see the antenna in there, so it's a bit interesting.
I think a lot of them, you remember the antenna gate thing that iPhone had, where they were actually running the antenna as a band around the phone, and if you held it in the wrong place, i.e. like a human being, then it completely blocked the antenna. So I think there's some kind of integral antenna where they put antenna material around the chassis, or at least the old iPhone
did. Because you got the antenna, like they talk about antenna lines, so I guess let's separate the metal out. Yeah. Cool. Is that one of the remote ID modules then?
Yeah, this is the one that...
is that an antenna in the bottom corner? The thing with like 4.4 written on it?
Looks like a ceramic antenna, yeah, to me.
Interesting. Yeah, it does. Got a little battery backup as well, so I guess it can get locked quicker. There is it's U blocks as well.
Yeah, 80 quid. Yeah, Richard, exactly.
Why does it need to be so big?
80 quid.
People not running it out.
Unlike,
I wonder if that's quad
totally unlabeled pads
no leads.
As well. They've managed to silkscreen this beautiful flight test logo onto it, but they couldn't like label the pads.
Oh no,
be more helpful.
They don't want to give you information.
And that you see that connector where it's like
off the edge,
board is
hanging off the edge
and empty, and and it's already really big, and then they stick the connector on a corner.
On the corner.
And it's hanging off the side of the board. Why? That's the worst place to mount it. This was designed by someone who flew wings and was like, "Oh, quads, they need holes at these distances apart. That'll do." And they just kind of YOLO'd the board design out.
Just chucked the components on the board. Yeah.
I'm sure if you've got a wing, it's much easier because you've essentially got a big box where you can just like hot glue things inside it and off it goes happily. But if you're trying to build stuff into a structure, that's going to be harder. Sorry for dissing all the fixed wing people, implying that they were just hot gluing things into boxes and throwing them into the air. I know some of you also use tape.
Yeah, it is a privilege. Less of it. Look, you're terrified of PWM. You cannot talk.
It's a mess. It's a total mess.
I know. What was Brandon says our representative aviation administrators will reimburse every single purchase, right? And Dominic Clifton said that is the official PCB design madness. Yes, it's Stubbsy says yes, that's a wing fitting monstrosity. I don't think Dom wants to bother.
Almost costs as much as the Calyx Vista. Flipping out.
Yeah. Speaking of which, do you see the HD0 VTX?
Oh yes, I saw that. Yeah. They stacked. They were kind of
show it off.
Yeah, let's get a picture on the screen. Do you want me to get one? I guess.
Yeah,
I think Defiance RC had it in stock, didn't they? That's where I was seeing it before.
Present.
Here we are. I've got a picky. Let me see if I can do this.
I haven't kept up, but
so
are they winning?
I don't know if they're winning, but they are nice and red, which has got to account for something, hasn't it? So
if it was orange, you'd be all about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you don't need to go and state the obvious, do we, Jack? I mean, if it was yellow or orange, I'd have bought 5 already. But as it is, it's just red, and that's not going to go with any of my 3D printing filaments. So I'm afraid I can't oblige. They've got a large number of connectors on here. It does make me wonder what's going on.
Yeah, 3 connectors. As you
3.
Can see.
So there's a keypad. One labeled keypad, as maybe this is a HD0 specific thing, but there's and another one down there. I guess this is a camera connector, but that looks maybe it isn't actually. Maybe that's serial.
No, I think that's maybe an update port, maybe, or the way you connect
I expect the camera connector to be opposite sides from the clamp down with the UFL, but maybe I'm a noob there.
Or maybe it's just underneath. You see that, like just underneath that white connector to the left, and just underneath that, maybe it's just under there. I reckon there's like a clamp there, maybe.
A solid-looking lump of aluminium. I think I was seeing the weight as 22 point something grams for this alone. So that is the same as the Vista, pretty much, isn't it? The Vista was that sort of 23 gram area, I think. And it's good for, was it 1 watt or 2 watts or something ludicrous?
It says 1 watt, but then if you look at the actual specs of it, it says 1 watt at race band 1 or something. Like, I'm pretty sure, didn't we have it? I don't know if this is confirmed or whatever, but when I watched a couple of videos on the previous Freestyle VTX, the power would drop off. So if you're on race band 1, you get the full 1 watt output. But if you go to like race band 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then the power just drops off. I don't know if that's an issue with people measuring it, or if that's actually how it works. But it does say in the description at 1 watt at race band 1. So I don't know if other power outputs have different. Different channels have different power outputs on that.
No, I think you're absolutely right that it's just a factor that the tuning that you end up with less power as you change channels.
Yeah.
I mean, that's standard with analog VTXs anyway, isn't it?
Still a lot of power. It's not like you need that. But I don't think you get totally rid of the sparkles, do you? That's something that annoyed me a bit with the HD0 stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like, I used DJI. Well, I used analog first of all, then I went to DJI, then I went to Walksnail, and I tried HD0 at in Croatia. Actually, I tried one of the guys in the chat, High Press PV's HD0, and it was quite. I did like the connected feel, I must admit. It was very connected. The issue was going in those sketchy bits where, with some other system, it would be sort of lagging a tiny bit. But with HD0, it's just pretty much you can't see. It's quite, drops off a cliff quite a bit when you're on the edge of range, which I guess every system does. But I just found that to be quite, I'm not too sure about that. But apart from that, if you're flying close to yourself, and that is a very nice connected feel, I'll give them that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
He crashed and broke my HD0 drone, he says. I did, I think. I don't know. I think I got a bit carried away.
I think the cost for me was just unexpectedly high because this was coming in, I think, sort of 90 to 100 currency units, which is up there with the DJI stuff, not with O3, but it's a lot for something that I thought of as basically a bit of a bump for analog kit, but not like a full premium digital system.
Yeah. The VTX, that V2 one's £94 in the UK.
Yeah. So it does look like the UFL connector is the opposite side to the camera.
Yeah.
So
and they've for 94 quid, we're still stuck with UFL, no MMCX, unfortunately. I bet people would really
Takes
like to
up
see
more
an
room.
MMCX.
More room, heavier.
They've
quite
put
like UFL.
die-cast aluminium blocks on it, Jack, but it's not really cutting the mustard to complain about weight once you've clamped a whole load of aluminium onto it.
Stuff has to keep cool.
What's your guys' opinion on all these flight controllers and VTXs just putting heat sinks on them? Like, you'll see this, not VTX, what am I on about? ESCs, they'll have just like put a heat sink on the ESC, but like the Speedy B ones for like literally, I don't see a reason, like just to make it look good. Like
branding, isn't it? It's like putting a spoiler on it.
It's adding extra weight for like what gain? You know, don't know.
I mean, does it help with cooling? Does it help with more on splash with like dodgy soldering?
Well, it might catch those little bursts where like something really bloody nasty happens for like a quarter of a second, and instead of that thing hitting potentially 150, 200 degrees C, it might only hit like 120 instead, and it might survive instead of like desoldering itself in a blaze of glory, which can happen to ESCs.
And also, if it does blow, it's a bit of a sort of tinfoil shield in the way of your ESCs burning your flight controller.
I guess, yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm not that annoyed by it.
I mean, I think everyone would love for ESCs to be invulnerable, but there's this constant trade-off of cost and space and complexity that everyone's fighting with. And the ESC designs have been pretty much the same since BL Heli 32 appeared, right? The actual hardware designs haven't changed a ton. There is a new chip which is supposed to be dropping, the F4A, which combines the MCU with the drivers, so that you just need the single controller chip and then the FETs.
Yes, because you used to use I see. So you've just got more control drives on, so you can fit them
bigger FETs.
Packed, yeah.
That's
cool.
Because you used to have like your MCU in the middle of the ESC, and then you'd have like 3 little chips next to that, and then you'd have your banks of big chunky FETs. So those 3 little controller drivers for each channel, you don't need them anymore. I think that seems to, or I don't know if it was 1 or 3, but anyway, there was some extra chips that are basically evaporating, and
that's pretty cool.
Going to add some extra components, diodes and things onto them as well, so that those aren't needed as surface mount as well. So things are slowly moving, but I keep expecting them to drop any month, but for whatever reason they're not appearing yet. But there's going to be some new ESCs this year, I think. Yeah, the Airbot F4A, as Dom says. Yeah, that's the one. And they're talking about a successor to that already, which integrates more bits onto it as well. A V2 of that.
The Walks Now Avatar HD Mini V3 is out, and the Maytech F405 V2.
I was annoyed that I bought a VTX just before they upgraded it. Quite miffed about that.
Is there much difference?
Well, they widened the voltage range, so it goes from like 3.1 volts to, I think, 13 volts. So you can run it on like a 10 volt back or a 5 volt back or a 1S system, or a 2S, 3S system as well. That's quite handy.
Yeah, 3.1 to 13 volts.
Yeah. Oh,
apparently,
solo failsafe.
Oh, there it is. Sorry, wrong button.
Here's the one. So you've got, this is the new one. It's the V3. So you've got, if you can see that. Oh, cool.
Is it a plug or glued? I can't quite see if it's potted.
So it's got like, it's soldered on, and I think you've got some like glue on the top. And then you've got a little connector this side. When it focuses, probably not going to focus.
And that's your USB.
But that's for your JST, and then you've got your antenna connector there. You got a nice little
lockdown on the antenna, strain relief on the antenna connector, or?
Yeah, there is. There's like a metal. Hang on. Let me manual focus this. Hang on.
It's all
we
right.
got you
There's
now.
audio podcast listeners anyway.
So yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
it's got it has got a metal clasp on the top to secure
and
the
is
UFL
that
connector.
32 gig or an 8 gig?
It's 32. You've got
Cool.
32, and it takes a maximum of 15 volts input, I think it is. And then
So
you've
this
got
is
the-
up to, other than going up to 500 milliwatt instead of up to 700, maybe a watt, but maybe not if reports are to be believed. This is kind of identical to the other one, but lighter.
Yeah, it's more of a hardware revision, really. You know, they call it V3, but it's not, you know, it's not like a step above. You know, it's just a slight hardware revision, in my opinion, to allow that higher voltage input. Like I think they're actually now selling this separately, so you're going to be able to get the VTX separately without the heatsink on, and they're actually upgrading the 1S board to 32 gigabytes as well. So you're going to be able to get 32 gigabytes on this tiny thing and have that added voltage input as well. So for people that were want to use that slightly higher input,
just before they did that, and then saw the announcement, and I was
it's really annoying how they're doing it. Like they're doing these small little changes, which is cool, but for people that are actually buying this previously, and you know they just bought one or whatever, and then this slight revision comes and it's not really named anything different. It's just to get a bit confusing for people. So I do think there does need to be a bit of a better naming system so that people can easily identify. Oh look, I've got because you know when you see this or whatever, it's not labeled or anything. You don't know how much storage is on it, or it's not great, but.
Well, actually, that one is that one has revisions. There's the V1, which was the dual antenna silver one, and then the V2 was black with the 20mm mount.
But they're different.
They're different though. Kind of the same,
but they're different because this is only 500 milliwatts, and it's only 500 milliwatts, and it can only take a 15-volt input. Whereas the V2 one.
What I was saying is that's a good situation compared to the 1S stuff, which does all look pretty much identical. Like visually, it's the original 1S one before they took the heat spreader off, and then the one afterwards without a heat spreader. And now there's going to be like a V3 version of that's going to look identical to the one before it. So it's going to be tricky.
But I've not tried this one yet. I really should put it in a build and give it a go.
Did you try all the color fonts, all that business?
I've not, no, but they have just released a firmware update, I think, which fixes a load of issues like with iNav. They've now fixed the issue which a load of people have been asking about, which was with custom fonts, and for some reason one of the pages wouldn't work with iNav or some sort of thing. Like it's not something I really use, but a lot of people were bothered by that, which is completely understandable. So they finally fixed that. That's something we've been receiving a lot of feedback about. I still think they've still got a bit of way to go in terms of like the image. I don't know, just the whole stability of it, the the over-the-air link itself and the quality of it. I still think it's not that polished as it used to be before a recent update, but I'm sure they're working on that. And at least they're now actually seem to be communicating with the actual community. With Shannon, who's he's one of the guys that makes all the custom fonts. So they're actually in direct contact with him, which is just going to help with getting all the fonts and everything compatible with the system, which is really good. But and there's a lot of speculation as well in terms of the goggles. People seem to think. I was still speaking about in the Mad Tech Discord something about them releasing new goggles, and apparently I had some at Drone Fest. I can tell you I do not know anything about new goggles or anything like that. So, but then again, I'm not really that into the loop as to the development. I just they tell me, oh look, something's coming out, and let me know about it. But they don't.
You're the hype machine then.
No, I kind of be good to know beforehand because then I can be ready, especially for updates in the Discord and everything. But no, I'm not aware of any goggles or anything like that. So
maybe they can turn the SD card slot round and put it in a sensible location. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Boy, where is it on that?
It's like directly in there. But yeah,
it's like upside down, so the thumbnail notch that you're supposed to be able to pull the SD card out with, like faces the plastic body, and it's just it's in a stupid place and it's upside down.
someone with an NDA would say that. I don't know if I've got an NDA. Well, I don't know. I don't think I do.
Maybe it's just a better air path. Like Madstech was looking at optimizing the air path for his fans and things.
They could be. This is Cadix. They could be doing it. They could do anything. They could drop something tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But I've not heard of anything. But maybe they're just potentially having supply issues, and they just need to restock it, or some sort of issue with supply chain or something like that. Could be something as simple as that, or it could be something, something they're working on. But not too sure. But yeah, they got a couple of things with the V2, the V1 goggles that I want to see improved. Like the HDMI output, it has never worked consistently for me. I've even asked them to send me a replacement USB-C board in it to think, maybe changing the connector out would help. But no, like after around 10 seconds, the thing would just cut out. The video would just stop. I've tried it on many monitors, capture cards, and everything. And it's still the same. And I've heard a load of other people say that as well. So,
all right.
Need to
I thought you were flying it at Drone Fest last year, and you had a monitor.
I did, yeah. It was working fine then. It was working fine then. So I don't know if there's a recent update or something that's caused it. But
it feels like they might be overloading the system, because I'm hearing people say, "Oh yeah, get rid of the OSD flickering, disable recording," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
really?"
A load of people were saying load of people think feature requests and everything. They like just post some. They're cool. Don't get me wrong, they're cool ideas, but I don't think some people realize the technicality of just what is involved to, some things are just limited by just technical point of view. You can't just be like releasing a firmware update to give 4K over the air or at 60 FPS or something. There is limitations with it. And yeah, I think we all got to understand that. They might need to do hardware revision to for some of the capabilities we're suggesting, but
like with a lot of stuff, they might just need to learn the hardware, learn its quirks, and learn the optimizations that are possible.
Yeah. And there's some stuff going around as well about Artisan or something, like Cadix don't actually make the firmware or something like that.
Yeah, but it's just effectively the SDK samples from Artisan.
I mean, yeah, that could be something in it, but I'm not so aware of. And to be honest, like whoever's, I'm not too bothered as long as this things are getting sorted. Then
as long as it works. I have wondered if they maybe would be a bit more open to assistance from the community. It's a question of how open the people they're buying the chips from allow them to be at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I have to wait and see. Maybe we'll see something like WTF OS and over time, but it's hard to tell right now.
Yeah.
Originally, they had a known password so that you could get into the system and log in when it was booting. But they've changed that, and that caused quite a bit of irritation with people, because it was almost like, well, if an update failed, I could fix my system, and now you've gone and stopped me from being able to do that on the, just because security. But
then again, at least it's not like I was going to say, at least it's not like Orca where that's not their fault, but I'm just saying, there was that thing with Orca with the time locking it out and stuff like that. That hasn't been out reworked now yet, but I don't know. That was pretty weird. Yeah.
Sorry, just bashing away on the keyboard. I had another issue which I was trying to sort out before the show. I've got one of these EP420 boards, and I tried to upgrade it and bricked it, which is a harder brick than normal, because pressing the boot button doesn't want to actually bring the thing back to life. We shall see.
Yeah, Caroline posted a link, and it's got a TBS spec wing. Apparently, she was out flying it, and line of sight. Saturday, broke it a little, but all repaired. It's really tough, so that's good. E600 for the win. 6,000. That's it. The rhinestone glue. So maybe there is some slight truth in Stephen's statement of they just glue it and hope for the best.
Send it.
That's it.
Yeah, I got out and did a bit of flying while I was hidden away in the countryside as well. So I put a few packs through a couple of different quads, some of the walk snail ones. I had a little 1S thing with a tiny light camera, and I had one of the new V2 VTXs with the Sony Pro camera on there, and I also had a little 3.5-inch, which is going to be upgraded to the O3 Lite, but it's still got the full fat O3 on there. So I was messing around with them and kind of comparing and contrasting. The O3 does give me a great image, but I had a lot of trouble coming out from under trees into bright sunlight. We had this beautiful sunny weather last week before the heavy rain appeared, and I was enjoying flying around the trees. And it's exceptionally cinematic, but it is straight up dazzling coming out into sunlight.
Didn't cope too well. I think that's one of the weaknesses of O3. Like just like with any system, any camera really doesn't cope that well in low light. The camera, from what I've seen.
It's very pretty though.
Yeah,
it gets you
100%.
Beautiful footage, but at the same time, beautiful footage of like dappled light through trees. From a pilot's point of view, it's more like, where am I going? And less, oh, look at all the pretty lights. So they're kind of conflicting, I think. I think I've said it before, but I feel like the goals of being cinematic and of having good navigable view are kind of mutually exclusive, because a lot of the things that provide you beautiful cinematography actually make it harder to see where you're going and to distinguish objects from each other.
Yeah, because I flew O3 in Croatia, actually. Behind our apartment we had, Stephen was one of the guys who came. So I flew one pack with Walksnail. I went around the whole entire apartment, struggling a bit around the back of it, and the flew O3, and it was the penetration and performance of it is really good. So definitely better. But I was surprised like how well it did when I was just going around the whole house. I didn't really feel much different. It's quite good in that respect. Yeah.
So there's still like DJI still winning the sort of performance race of everything, and everyone sort of like chasing behind.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, there's benefits and downsides to every system, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
It's very beautiful.
I am kind of biased, but
yeah. The one thing I did notice with DJI is, and annoyingly, I hadn't noticed it until I think it was, is it Diversion, or the guy who makes the really light scimitar frames? And he's always on about thrust and his videos. Anyway, he's been looking at O3 and paring it right down, and he noticed that there was a kind of a stutter. Like if you do a yaw, then sometimes you notice like an unevenness in the frame rate. And if you change it from auto onto manual, for some reason, it stops that, which is a bit odd. Like some artifact of the channel hopping that DJI is doing messes with the latency. And if you lock it to a single channel, it makes it better. That's a bit odd.
My friend Alf FPV, he's another guy that came to Croatia as well. He's bought an O3A unit and used it with the V2 goggles, and he's been saying how the stuttering really puts him off, because he's sort of a hardcore analog pilot, so he's quite sensitive to latency and everything. He was just sort of saying that, yeah, he's not a great fan of the O3 and Caddis Vista as well. Something just didn't get on well with him.
I didn't notice it on the Vista, but on the O3, when I do a yaw from side to side, and I know I'm not doing anything crazy with the sticks, like I've got loads of expo and I'm just really slowly moving the sticks on these fancy pants AG01 gimbals, and I expect the quad to kind of just yaw like that, and it kind of goes whoop, 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 and it feels like I'm seeing some frames disappear, or the latency is just so all over the place that it's really noticeable.
I mean, I do want to say as well, like in terms of Walksnail compared with Vistas, obviously I came from Vistas. I went from DJI to Walksnail. I've seen that progress over time, and I'd definitely rather be flying with the Walksnail system rather than Vistas, because the built-in storage as well is super handy. Like I posted a couple's Instagram reels where I'm just using the DVR, and it, in my opinion, it looks much superior over just DJI DVR, because if you're recording directly on the VTX, and you got 32 gigabytes on there, and the connectivity could be better. It could have a proper faster connection to transfer the footage. That's not a big deal, But yeah, I quite like the fact you can just record and it'll record directly on there on the VTX, and you got just a clean feed without any interference. I think that's a really proper advantage over the Vistas to me.
Yeah, I have my little 3.5-inch where I've actually just glued the USB to JST adapter in there, so I could just shove a USB cable in the back of it. And I was thinking of crafting some of my own. I bought some little USB-C sockets, and I was going to make an extra small USB-C to JST and just like stick them on a couple of the VTXs, so I could just plug in and get the footage, because it's nice to have. It does the job.
Yeah, especially for those smaller builds as well. Now the VTX are coming with 32 gigabytes of storage on this tiny little board. Like, for micros and things like that, that's a big deal. But
it lasts a long time.
Then again, with O3 as well, you're getting now the naked kits, which aren't really off the shelf, but that's pretty cool as well. I'd quite like to try one of those.
And with the walk snail stuff, you've 8 gig or 32 gig on board, but it goes quite a long way at 1080p with walk snail. Like, I'll be recording a video and it'll do about 1.7 gigs for 5 minutes, and if I'm doing O3, that's like, I think at 120, because you want to get 120 in the goggles, you put that up 120 4K and it's like 9.5 or 10 gig for 5 minutes, and that's an amount of data that's actually fairly difficult to move around. It's kind of on the upper end of, am I going to start having to need to take like really fast external hard drives with me if I'm going out for flying for a day, because I might have 200 gigs of footage at the end.
I mean, can you change the resolution, things like that, to drop it down so you can record more? Because
then you end up
with free, then you're going to be flying that resolution. That's the downside as well. Wherever you're flying, you're recording, and you're also recording
gyro flow, because you're going to be cropping inside the frame, so you end up with a grittier image in gyro flow, because you never get the full 4K because you're having to crop in with gyro flow anyway.
I've not really seen that many pilots like use O3 as their main camera, like their main actually camera. I've seen Philip actually. Philip's one of the pilots I have seen where he's using it as his he used it as actually a backup. So he was flying with the Action 2. He broke his ND filter midway through the flight and just switched the O3 footage, and it looked really good. So I've not really seen many pilots just switch exclusively to O3. Most of them are still running an action camera of some kind, which is interesting.
I think it's worth a go just to actually. I'm seeing if I can get a video out here. I think I've got a couple of clips. Some of the footage is really, really nice, but at the same time, I'm not really a video guy, and I did have very good lighting, so I was able to get a few bits and pieces that look nice. I had to fart around quite a lot to kind of get it, but
I've just seen Numpskull FPV in the chat saying trouble with DJI VTX is they have the S-Bus section 2. What do you mean by that? As in,
they've got like S-Bus output from the VTX, and some people, if they're not like paying attention when they wire it, they end up connecting the S-Bus, and it just spams a UART, and people get quite confused. I always repin the connectors so that I only have like the UART for the VTX and its power supply connected, but by default the cables they give you, they have S-Bus as well. So
I just straight away, I don't
cut them or repin them.
I just depin the UART, the S-Bus.
So this is like a shot out of the O3. It's not bad. I mean, obviously I can't play it because then the quality probably just goes to bits, but I was getting some pretty good footage out of it. It's just, I guess it's too expensive to put in every quad, and I can't really take it out of one quad and put it into another at the drop of a hat. But it's nice.
Looks like it's frozen for us. I don't know if it's.
I didn't want to play it because I thought as the instant I do it, it'll just go into a bunch of blocks.
Right. See.
Makes sense,
Vanover. I've seen. Well, some of his couple of videos I've seen, he I don't know if he just flies it, but for all his videos he's doing, like you'll see he's uploaded a new video saying he's changed a few things in setup, and most of them well, the main change really is he switched the Action 2. This is his main camera, so I think he is using the Action 2, and his flying is just amazing. It's just so good. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's kind of superhuman. I think I've got a perfect frame in here that kind of illustrates some of the problems of 03. I'll see if I can pause it and then share it again so it gives a nice crisp view. Like coming out into sunlight, because it looks very. This is what I mean for our audio viewers. It's super cinematic, but at the same time, like, where am I going again? Like, okay, that's beautiful, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem which I was being with Walksnail as well. I think it's just a quite challenging thing for cameras to do, you know, switch from light to dark really quickly. I don't know if the Caddx Vista or whatever you're using previously was better than that. I assume it was. It was sort of blown out.
I think some analog cameras have historically managed to do it. You kind of get a little ways out and it started to get a bit better, but yeah, you can get a bit close to obstacles without realizing. Do you have to rebind whenever you go back to old air units, though? I'm actually not flying the old air units right now. I think I've got them in a couple of quads still, but I found when I pick up something to fly, I'm picking up the Walksnail systems. I'm not really thinking about it, but I'm just flying the Walksnail stuff every time. So yeah, I'm not actually I haven't had to rebind to the old system.
I really like it. I've thought like about trying DJI as well, and that, like, the other thing is I've sold my DJI V2 goggles to a friend, so I've obviously been using the Walksnail goggles since then. I just really like the small form factor of them and how they fit on my face. They're not like quite as big as bulky as the V2 goggles, which is what I quite like personally about.
I found going back to the DJI goggles, I was like, oh, wait, I must have knocked the focus when these were in the bag because I can see the center of the screen, but the edges are all blurred. And then I was like, oh, no, that's just how they are. They're just a massive box goggle. And I haven't used these for so long, I'd forgotten that it's impossible to actually focus on the whole screen.
Yeah. They're quite bulky.
Wonder if do they call them the 03 like goggles?
The fancy goggles. They're probably better. Yeah.
Do they have that?
So yeah, that's an interesting. That goes into an interesting point because there's a lot of pilots in my group, sort of close friends, that have tried the 03 goggles too, and they're actually going back to the V2 goggles. I think that's partly because with the V2 goggles you get 120 hertz refresh rate, whereas the goggles 2 you're only 100 hertz. You get a bit more refresh rate. I'm not sure that's the entire reason, but I think the main reason is like the fit and how they fit on your face. And I think sometimes people are finding it's just too much field of view. Like that's the one problem I've noticed. Some people saying is the edge of the image will just be distorted. So actually they prefer to go back to the V2 goggles just for that more sort of less field of view, but you're getting decent quality and 120 FPS. That's what I've heard from my group. Not too sure what other people think.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people recommend going to the V2 goggles to be able to get back 120 FPS, and it was always really curious that DJI released their flagship goggles. I would expect the Integra to maybe be like the lower performing one, but to have the first flagship goggles for the 03 system come out with a lesser frame rate than the previous ones, that was super confusing to me. I couldn't figure out what was going on there.
Weird choice.
Don't know if that's a technical. Well, I don't know if that's to do with that. I reckon that's probably something to do with the OLED screens they're using. They could probably just. I don't know if it's such a thing as like overdriving them, so you can run them at a higher frame rate. But you notice a lot of things with OLED goggles, like the Walksnail ones, for example, they can only do 100 FPS. DJI only do 100. I don't know if it's some sort of limitation with OLED, or not a limitation with OLED, but I mean, like the technology around now, or in the current time,
is small reach to get from 100 to 120, though.
Yeah,
such a small gap. But you're probably right. There's probably just there's one panel you can buy for a sensible amount of money, and that's the one they've all bought, and it just can't do anymore. Probably right.
Yeah.
And what more do you want? DJI have graced you with a new goggle, and you should buy it and like it and shut up.
I mean, you make a very valid point there, Jack. Obviously, yeah.
Oh, how dare you quibble? Who
Yeah,
wants frame rate when you've got a nice looking picture?
That's Bads for Life just put in chat. I noticed with thinner foam, I didn't get much out. I didn't get out of focus as bad on goggles too. Also, 4x3 helps. Yeah, that's true. 4x3, yeah. I'm just thinking about thinner foam though, because I had an issue where it. Well, I don't know if it's just got a freaking massive nose or something, but basically the goggles would just like you just notice that they haven't got much of a cut for your nose. So if you got thinner foam, okay, they're gonna be closer. But is that not gonna be an issue with your nose as well? I don't know.
I had a big problem with the HT0 goggles. I put them on, it felt like someone had put like scissor blades down the sides of my nose. They were so narrow.
That as well for me. Yeah,
very difficult.
Yeah.
Fellow big noses unite. It's a hard life.
I didn't say anything.
But yeah, the HT0 goggles, they were kind of my hope. Like maybe I get one goggle that just does everything. It's going to be so amazing. Like just do absolutely everything. And then when I tried the one, I was like, oh God, no, I've got the wrong face for this beautiful plan of mine. It's not going to work at all.
No,
it's just going to give me pain.
There's still no clear winner. I just want there to be we're going with this. This is good.
Yeah. People are still throwing stuff at the wall, aren't they? That's where we are. Throw stuff at the wall, see what happens.
It's hard to commit. It's hard to be like, yeah, I'm going to buy that system. I'm going to fly it. Because
do you think it'll ever get there though, or do you think there'll always be something that's a tiny increment better, and so people will always be chancing it and seeing what they can do?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like a lot, especially when you think like, how long have we had the 03 now? Have we had it a year? Is this our first, like year of it, winter, and no one's going to be flying it? And then you've got another 2 summers, and then the 3-year thing where they turn off features and the V2's not going to work anymore.
It's coming up to a year, I reckon. It's October, November. So it's about, I reckon, about 10, 11 months 03's been out. I'll just have a look. The 03A unit itself, that is.
Yeah. So you've only really got another 2 summers. We've had a weird summer where it was really late and then it was boiling hot for a week, and now it's kind of eased back, and that's all we're going to get. But then it's then it's deep dark winter. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a shame. I've been following some of the other stuff where people are messing around with Wi-Fi, and that always looks like it's got a bit of promise, but it's always slightly too big or too awkwardly shaped, or just too many really complex connections and USB connections and ribbon cables involved. So I think I bought a single board computer that was supposed to work with OpenHD about 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and the support never materialized, and now it's too old and too slow, and it'll never work with it, and it's still in its box. Just like, I thought that would be a way to have an open solution that wasn't DJI, but just never got off the ground unless you've got some massive monster quad, 8-inch props that can lift a giant video system. It's probably not the right choice.
Yeah.
Boo. Grumble, grumble. Boo.
Bad
grumble.
summer. Yes, bad summer this year. As in bad, do you mean what? Too hot, or you've not done much into the Rep EV?
It's difficult, isn't it?
Well, it's been very changeable. And changeable is the polite phrase that people in the UK use to describe the mixture of shitty rain blowing in your face so you can't see, coupled with just when you decided to go and huddle indoors and put on all your winter clothing, incredibly hot days that remind us why we should really have air conditioning. And so the running indoors and outdoors has not really abated this year. People haven't really had a period where it's been nice and everyone's been like, okay, I'll actually plan and go fly somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Stubby just said rain. Yeah. It's been pretty bad some days. It's that last weekend as well. That was so hot. It's complete opposite. It was just absolutely boiling. Which is good, but I didn't go flying. Damn it.
Busy now, you work.
Yeah, that's the problem. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to next year doing all the trips again. The Croatia trip, we need to do that again.
Do you think you go back to the same locations? Have you got anything else planned?
I think we'll definitely do the road trip again and go back to the same locations. I think we are thinking of basically inviting the same people as last year and just doing it because I think we had pretty much the perfect amount of people, but everyone else is welcome as well. But it's limited in terms of like the transport and the accommodation we've got. But yeah, we're definitely doing it again. It's really fun.
It was a lot of fun. I was a little bit terrified by the paper mill, but I'm happy to see that everyone came back with all their extremities attached.
Oh, that paper
horror
mill
stories of I got this scar. Oh yeah,
that paper mill was just brutal. That was like, it was so hot, and one of the balls where we saw last time had just been knocked down in the main place we flew last time. It's just been knocked down, so there's been changes last year. In fact, we went there and we still saw some like props on the table where I left them last year. Like it's just no one goes there. It's such a cool place. Any room for a few wings at Drone Fest next year? Yeah, bring them. Like we had Dean. Holt Blackheath. He brought his wing. Actually, it was a plane. No, it wasn't a wing, but he did bring his plane on the Sunday evening. But you're welcome to bring wings. Like there's no restrictions in terms of wings or planes or whatever you want to bring. As long as it's transmitting on the tent you're flying in, the channel that you're flying in, then that's what really matters, and send it. Like, yeah, I can't wait for next year's Drone Fest. We're not started planning yet, but we will be shortly, hopefully, and getting something together. It's a lot involved. Like it's been last year's we spent 8 to 9 months in Discord calls every single Wednesday, just planning everything. So it's obviously it does take a while. So it was worth it. So worth it.
Are we going to see some kind of massive supercut of everything from this year as a featurette? Anything in the works?
Yeah, so we saw, I don't know if you've seen the Camera Center UK video, but Camera Center UK, they came along and they've done a FPV movie, actually. It'd be well worth watching. They basically just did a movie. They took a few people out and did some like interviews with a few of the guys, the organizers, and showed us some flight footage. And it was just a generally amazing video, just showcasing the whole event and what it took, what sort of went into it. But we're going to be making our own video, hopefully soon, just detailing all the shots we've got. So that's going to be coming soon.
Anything? Have you got? I saw a few clips on Instagram from Croatia. Have you got?
Yes, that's on my pretty much endless thing of video footage I need to edit.
The endless to-do list.
Yes, but I'll be getting that edited soon. He says.
I know it's always one of these things that hangs over you, isn't it? It's difficult
it's like 800 gigabytes worth of footage just from the holiday that I've got to go through.
Oh man,
yeah,
that is mental.
It's like there's a creative Red Bull that's got a date with you. You're just gonna sit down there and watch days of footage.
It's crazy, and it's just like I've got so many different shots. It's just working out how to put them together. I think that's the main thing because we did so many different things. 1 minute we're going karting. 1 minute we're sailing. I don't know, doing paddleboarding, and the next minute we're flying. It's so many different things. I just need to find a way of putting them together. I think I'm going to start
continuity hassle, isn't it?
B-roll footage of the house, B-roll footage of each of the bandos. It's just how do you put a video together? Like, I I'm thinking of like doing a video where I'm just overlaying, just doing a like a speech over it, and then just showcase it, just talking a bit about each of the places, cutting to different things, flight footage. I also don't want to make it too long as well because I don't think people want to watch like a long video,
a 4-hour epic like Lawrence of Arabia with quads.
Yeah,
just a quad slowly at the distance, getting closer and closer and closer with dramatic music playing.
People like sorry for it.
Oh, no, go on.
I was gonna say, so many people are used to like short form content now, like on TikTok or Instagram Reels. I don't know if someone will want to watch like a 20
ignoramuses.
You know what I mean?
Make them educated. Sit them down for a button. I mean, Christopher Nolan 3.5-hour epic with quads.
Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Can you imagine that? Just sat down, like taping people.
Hello, it's Mads Tech.
I just can't stop thinking about the intro to Lawrence of Arabia, but with quads, like a quad getting really, just looking out over a desert, and it goes towards you really slowly, and it's just dramatic music.
it really sort of makes you like take your hat off to vloggers where they have the cutaways explaining like we done this and this, you know, this happened, and you know, like B-roll and sort of just continuity. Like the way Cole does it is like he takes my footage of a, you know, like a place that he's never been, he wasn't there on the trip, and sort of like puts it together so it's like, you know, just digestible. I really, Goal, I appreciate you if you listen to this. You probably won't, but no worries. Right, unfortunately, that is all we got time for. You've been listening to Let's Drone Out. Massive shout out to all our patrons who keep the lights on, keep the hosting, keep everything going. Thank you guys. We really appreciate you. You guys rule. You know who you are.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, there's also a couple of slots for executive people with certain donations where I'll read your name and say thank you at the beginning of the pre-recorded episodes. If you just listen to this as an audio podcast, it is recorded on YouTube. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. till 9. And if there's certain things that we talk about that you want to see, it should marry up quite nicely on the YouTube. That's youtube.com, Let's Drone Out. And our Patreon's patreon.com/Let's Drone Out. And you guys rule. You've been listening to the man with the moustache, Stephen.
Good evening. Good to talk to you all again. See you next week.
DJ Failsafe.
Hello. Yep. See you all next week.
And my buddy Cole, who's not here anymore because he had to shoot off to work. And I'm Bright Until I Fly. Thank you. Good night. Bye.
Good night.